Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 8 at Aqueduct on Saturday, a edition of the New York Stallion Stakes. This one's 6.5 furlongs, 3-year-old New York breds. Let's take a look at this field. $200,000 is the purse. There's going to be a big favorite in this race, and that's the number 2 race, who just ran a pretty good 5th in the Wood Memorial. It was a solid effort, Mike, to be sure, trying open horses for the first time, trying a demanding mile in an 1/8. He was in with a look at it at the 5/16 before being pushed away. All in all, a top performance, and if he runs his usual race, he's too much for these.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's 2-5 on the line for a reason. It's a pretty significant cutback in distance for him, but it's also a pretty significant drop in class. And he just towers over this field, Dan. He's probably not going to lose.
Now, I know you usually don't handicap like this, but here's a horse coming off of a tough effort at a tough distance, wheeling back on only 2 weeks rest. Are you concerned that maybe he left a little bit on the track in the Wood?
No, I mean, not against this field. I'm not. I understand that could be an issue for him. We'll see if it affects him at all. He's the kind of horse, though, Dan, based on his, last, 2 or 3 races, he could regress significantly and still beat this field.
He is 2 for 2 sprinting in his career, and he can pass horses. As we see in the Timeform US Pace Projector, that could be a very valuable trait. The 3 Tommy Gunn has some speed. The 1 Unique Unions is very, very fast as well. Kaz Mike has some speed. I think Unique Unions, Mike, off of the layoff's got to be hustled out from the rail draw, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that horse, the 1 Unique Unions, is going to be on the lead in this race.
Now, Unique Unions is stakes placed in his own right. He was 3rd in one of the New York Stallion Series events to finish off his 2-year-old campaign. He ran against Bariz, however, in the Rego Park in his most recent start way back on January the 9th. He made the lead in that race. Bariz was too good for him, and now Unique Unions is the one that has to deal with a layoff. Bariz was coming off the long layoff when he beat Unique Unions.
Yeah, I mean, this horse actually ran pretty well in that Rego Park. They sent this horse from the gate to try to make the lead. He got it. He hung around until deep stretch, and he just was no match for Bariz late. But that wasn't a bad performance at all. So far, since his debut, when you go back and watch his debut at Belmont, like something went wrong with him that day. But obviously, it wasn't anything major because he came right back, and he's run well in all 3 starts since then.
Bariz won his first 3 starts against New York breds. He ran just fine in the Wood. He is wheeling back on short notice. I trust Michael Maker in these situations, and the pace should be solid enough where at 6.5 furlongs, if he fires and shows up with even his A- game, he's supposed to win.
Yeah, it's just that there's not really anything to say about it, Dan. It's all right there for you on paper. If this horse shows up and runs anything like his good race, this field can't beat him.
Tommy Gunn, the number 3, showed speed at a big price in his career debut for trainer George Weaver. He got involved in a pace skirmish that day. He finished behind Kaz Mike. Kaz Mike might have gotten a better trip than he did. This horse really took heat every step.
He did, so we'll see if he's going to be able to pull a better trip in this race, because it feels like he's not going to be able to, Dan, with Unique Unions down towards the inside. I mean, if they want the lead with this horse again, he's going to have to work to get it. And then he's going to have to take a pretty big step forward in the face of the favorite.
Linda Rice will cut back the number 4, Mo Danson, in distance. She began her career sending Mo Danson out to 2 one-turn mile races. In the debut, it was only a $40,000 maiden claiming. The horse didn't break very well. Jose Lezcano was alert, got him up close to the pace, and Mo Danson did the rest. It was a pretty solid performance. Last time out, well beaten. Turning back in distance here, I know there could be some pace, but I think there's a real chance this horse could be outrun early.
Yeah, that's how I felt the same way about it, especially if they go fast early. His debut was actually fine going a mile. It was a pretty weak field, but I thought he ran pretty well in there. If nothing else, the field that he faced last time, it was only an allowance race, and now they're stepping him up into the Stallion Series, but that was actually a good field as well. He just couldn't contend with those horses, but it's not like things get any easier for him here.
Big price on the 5, Red DGT. P. Let's watch the career debut in for a $40,000 tag. Dismissed 13-1. Showed good early speed. Is in with a big look at this turning into the stretch, and he's just going to get tired the last half of furlong. Safe to say he's going to have to do better than this, but it was nice to see him show speed on his debut.
Yeah, true enough. This is a race that both he and the horse he's chasing get really tired at the end of this race. So it feels like the pace really worked against them. It was just his career debut. He could obviously do better with time. They've just rushed him sort of right back into a really tough race.
Mr. Larry looked good in his debut, going 6 furlongs at Aqueduct here into 77 Beyer speed figures sprinting, and then he caught a pretty hot horse in his last 2 races. I think Rotten Knee is pretty good. Interesting that the blinkers are coming on. He might have the right running style. Can he run back to the debut? That's really the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. And listen, the reason that his debut turned out so well for him, I guess it's twofold, Dan, is because he had a really hot and contested pace in front of him there. They dueled. They were an all-out duel. He sat it out and he ran him down. His rider, Trevor McCarthy, also kept him on a gold rail the entire way around the track. So, he took advantage in a lot of ways first time out, and then he just, got buried in his next 2 starts. But maybe things will work out really well from here again if they duel in front of him.
Kaz Mike was a game runner-up in his career debut with a competitive 75 Beyer speed figure. He was bet down to odds on off of that race, and he disappointed somewhat. Let's watch his most recent effort on March the 31st. He broke sharp. He was hustled out of there. Trevor decided, I think wisely, let's take back off these 2 speeds in front and come with a run. I'm on the best horse. And Kaz Mike, as we saw in his debut, just seems a little bit green in the stretch.
Yeah, just not really finding a finish here. You see him sort of floundering on his wrong lead there, Dan. He's not making up any significant ground here through the stretch, and he's only going to manage second at the end. This was a little bit disappointing considering he was odds on, and a little bit of a step in the wrong direction from his debut, where he actually ran really well. I think he can rebound here, and he's got a great outside post.
Just what I was going to say. Outside post gives Trevor plenty of options with a couple of speeds to his inside. Almost time for our top picks. Please head over to the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. Please click on the subscribe button. You'll have access to all of our videos. Top pick time for the New York Stallion Stakes, one of 2 stakes races at Aqueduct on Saturday. Mike, I think we're going to chalk out here, and this horse is going to be real tough. And I'm really curious to see what we get down the road, because I'm not convinced that he's just a New York bred.
Yeah, I agree with you. This horse is actually pretty good. And I won't be surprised when he, if he runs really well again in here, that Maker goes right back into an open race with this horse. He's good. He's just way too tough for these horses if he shows up with anything like his good race.
Same triple. 2174 for Mike, 2173 for me. It's the New York Stallion, race 8 at Aqueduct on Saturday. Best of luck.